You're watching ABS. Good evening and welcome to Insiders News. Tonight, we'll bring you a story about a life of a 13-year-old girl living with her aunt and how she turned to fend for the family by her guardian by hawking all sorts of goods. I am Ifunaya Amafili. Thanks for being with us. Before we start with that story, we'll start with the hard news first. Governor Willie Obiano says that part of his major success story in all aspects of the state economy in the past 5 years was the massive support from members of the State House of Assembly. Governor Obiano, in a show of gratitude to God, the State Assembly members, as well as state citizenry, during the celebration of the Holy Mass to mark the first-year anniversary of his administration's second term in office, said that he will expand the state economy performance within the next 3 years. Our Government House correspondent, Ejike Abana, reports that the dignitaries who attended the Mass held at St. Joseph's Special Science School and Seminary, Oka Etiti, include House of Representatives and Assembly members, amongst others.
Governor Obiano, who appreciated Anambra for supporting him irrespective of affiliations and inclinations, pointed out that the GDP of the state has increased from 3 trillion naira to 4.2 trillion naira in the last 5 years. While citing a few successes of his administration, Governor Obiano hinted that Forbes recently recommended the state government's Community Choose Your Project initiative strategy as a model for development of Africa, saying that he will remain focused, stressing that he will not hesitate to change anybody who is underperforming in his cabinet.
In the 3 remaining years, I want to reassure the Anambra that we are not going to lower the ball. Our eyes will be on the ball. And if you are distracted on that football, the coach will change you. I'm going to change and I won't walk. I'm going to do what I've been doing. So, what you do there? And for the young ones who are at their premises today, I was once like you. Let me tell you, it's not every time you wake up that you want to go and study. And that's the truth. Sometimes you're not in the mood and what have you. But if you have your eyes on the ball, you will always be encouraged to study.
In a homily, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Onitsha, Most Reverend Valerian Okeke, appreciated the governor's attitude of gratitude, saying that 3 years is enough for the governor to turn things around, urging Ndi Igbo that it is not too late to unite and become like other tribes. Archbishop Okeke asked the governor and everyone to make necessary sacrifices to clinch the golden crown as it proved to his supporters and adversaries.
Informa ke jamat ejilo oku ekiri ifabalaka lefife o we to egesi bebe oreji eji anya mat no tutu ife eji anya mat mana anyị chọrọ ka anubezi ofuma na onye isi ya afu ya onye nọ n'ụla agwalụ maka ya ndị ọzọ si esi befa ga sonyere anyị kapa dị ka anyị mana ọba anyị ka eji mere adres ọrụ eziokwu onye na-esonyere na be ọkwa bekee ka bụ adres.
Speaking to the ABS on Governor Obiano's successes, the Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejofo, the member-elect for Anambra East and West, Mr. Chinedu Obidiwe, and the BOT member of APGA, Chief Romeo Zonwuka, said that Governor Obiano has done a lot for Ndi Anambra to deserve their support and wished him well in the remaining years of his administration.
God for making it possible, giving us a good leader, Dr. Udimana. He's a leader with foresight. He's a leader that loves working. He's a leader that loves. So based on that, he has been doing very well. For the past 1 year, I've been in this administration. I've been wonderful. But our hope and belief is that this is a man that loves to work. Even a day before the election, he was flagging off projects, Since after the election, we are moving around, we are still working. So these 3 years is going to take Anambra to the cruising level.
Dr. Obiano has showcased the world that he is within Ligma. He has showcased what governance is all about for the people. And players are like Oliver Twist, more the word for better work is more work. We anticipate a better tomorrow, more better tomorrow. And we are going to the National Assembly to join hands with His Excellency and uplift our state, attract all the national largesse back to the state and complement what is doing already. Thank God.
We are here today to celebrate his 5 years anniversary and to encourage him to continue. The remaining 3 years will be so good for the Anambra people. We always work with him. The God is with us. Anambra really has shown that he's a light of the nation by bringing us the man of vision, the man of great light.
The member representing Onitsha North 2, Mr. Edward Ibuzo, member representing Ihiala 1 constituency, Mr. Pascal Abodike, member-elect for Agwata 1 constituency in the State House of Assembly, Mr. Kata Ume, and Idemle North member-elect, Mr. Ifeanyi Chiepu, pledged to continue supporting the governor to deliver on his mandate.
Meanwhile, citizens of the state are applauding the Obiano administration for consolidating on the achievements it's recorded in the state in the past 5 years, as it marks the 5th year anniversary since inception in 2014. Our political correspondent, Chukwuemeka Modelim, gathered the views of residents of Awka about the first years of Governor Obiano's second term in office, and now reports.
On the 17th of March 2018, Governor Willie Obiano was sworn in for second term in office after his re-election, which was considered a landslide victory, as he cleared all the 21 local government areas of the state with appreciable margin. The people re-elected Governor Obiano owing to his spectacular performance in the areas of security, agriculture, education, health, industrialization, oil and gas, among others. Governor Obiano, after his swearing in for second term in office, promised that his tenure would witness improvement in the provision of infrastructure, entrepreneurship, and agriculture. Commenting on the first year of Governor Obiano's administration in the state, a legal practitioner, Mr. Obinna Mbanugo, expressed joy that Anambra State has been peaceful and secured, as the huge investments in security and the street lights in parts of the state has made Anambra the safest state in Nigeria, West and Central Africa, a feat he noted earned Governor Obiano the award of Best Governor on Security Architecture in West and Central Africa from Africa Security Watch. He urged the Obiano administration to do more in the areas of youth empowerment and road construction.
It is the first time nightlife is coming back to Anambrarians. This is the first time we're having nightlife. We can move around freely at night. My office that is resident here in Aroma, I used to know how Aroma was a beehive of miscreants before now. But now in the night, you can move around freely.
On his part, the chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Anambra State Council, Comrade Emma Ife-Sinachi, observed that Governor Obiano has sustained the tempo of development he achieved in his first tenure in the areas of agriculture and education, stressing that Anambra State keeps flooding the market with indigenous brand of rice known as Anambra rice, which is competing favorably with other brands in the market. Comrade Ife-Sinachi added that Anambra has maintained her enviable position in WAEC NECO examinations, while secondary school students and teachers keep excelling in national and international competition.
I must confess that democracy is about the people. His administration is people-oriented. Any successful government under democracy must, derive its policy and program from the people, and he has done that.
In his reaction, Reverend Jonathan Ikpoy praised the Obiano administration for prompt payment of workers' salaries, wages, gratuities, and pensions. He also commended Governor Obiano for commencing the third phase of the 20 million naira Community Choose Your Project initiative, which he maintained will accelerate the development of rural areas.
We are seeing things working better as some communities are choosing their projects, and schools are always, teachers and lecturers are always happy when it comes to the way the governor is supporting them. So I think so far so good. He's doing well.
In Oka, Chukwuemeka Modelem, ABS News.
Still on commendations to the state, the wife of the governor of Anambra State, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, has received the 2019 Woman of Excellence Award for her work in the area of women empowerment through the NGO, the Caring Family Enhancement Initiative Cafe. She received the award in New York, United States of America. Mrs. Obiano was among the top 10 global women honored at the event by the organizers AgroBiz, an American-based foundation that promotes opportunities for women participation in agriculture and improved standards of living for farmers. Receiving the award, Mrs. Obiano thanked the organizers for the honor and said she is encouraged to do more for Anambra women. She praised Governor Willie Obiano and other donors that have contributed to make it possible for CAFE to build homes for indigent women in Anambra State, build toilet facilities and markets, provide artificial limbs for the disabled, carry out surgeries for children suffering from cleft palate disorder, as well as fund skill acquisition programs for Anambra women. Also at the event, Anambra State Commissioner for Children and Women Affairs, Lady Ndidi Mezwe, was honored with the Breakthrough Award. In her acceptance speech, she dedicated the award to the Governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, and his wife, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, for giving her the opportunity to serve, and to all the women and children she represents in the ministry. Living a life of faithfulness to the Word of God and to the evangelization of the good news of Jesus Christ form the underlying themes of homilies and sermons in churches today. Our ABS religious correspondent, Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, joined church services and masses across the state, capital territory, and filed in this report.
At the Chapel of Glory, Unizik Oka, Venerable Celestine Anyamaka, who in his sermon drew, drawn from the topic, Go You Also, said that at any stage in life, God gives Christians the opportunity to be employed into his service so as to testify the good news about Christ. He said, having received the salvation of Christ, who died to redeem and reconcile man with God, that there is need for all to recognize and run his race, stating that the wrath of God awaits those who do not believe in the salvation of Christ.
Today, we are trying to remind ourselves as Christians that at any stage in our life, God gives us the opportunity to be employed into his service, to also go and bear witness of the good news of what Jesus Christ has done for us by coming to die to pay the price for our sins and saving us to become his children.
The resident priest, St. Charles Catholic Church, Amansi, Reverend Father Emmanuel Umezinwa, in his homily, called on Christians to believe strongly in God and ensure their faith is not shaken, so as to prove their belief at all costs.
We see in the gospel today the appearance of Christ on the Transfiguration Mountain. Jesus allowed some of the super apostles, Peter, James, and John, to have a peep into the glory of God. And Peter lost himself. And then, of course, proved to them again that the dead are not really dead because of the appearance of Elijah and Moses, who had died hundreds of years before then.
Also at St. Joseph's Anglican Church, GRA Oka, Reverend Nzubechukwu Obiejemba asked Christians to strive hard now that they are privileged to relate with their Maker, saying that the heavens rejoice for a sinner who turns back from his sins and reconcile with God. While the chaplain of St. Joseph the Walker Chaplaincy, Unizik Permanent Site, Oka, Reverend Father Remiju Sezokonkwo, said faithfulness, trust, and prayers are the only tools that will draw men back to Christ. Reverend Father Ezokonwo cited the biblical Abraham, who was faithful to God, and God made a covenant with him and rewarded him, advising Christians that faithfulness is an assurance for divine blessings.
Today, our Lord presented to us what we must do in order to witness his glory, and that is faithfulness to him.
Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
We're done with the hard news now. Welcome now to the Insiders News. And today we'll be talking about a social issue that seems stuck to stay with our society. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Eliminating child labor and child abuse may still be a wild goose chase in our society if strict measures are not taken to end such acts. Recently, a 13-year-old child was seen carrying a big bucket of fufu and some more in a bako bag by her guardian, who had given it to her to hawk and not to come back home except she sells it all. For more details, let's join Ngozi Obileri of Insiders News.
Many things happen around us that we are ignorant of. Living in a neighborhood, one may not know that his neighbor is in a danger if he did not take a step to find out. Otherwise, the neighbor may die out of frustration, ailment, or disease that may have been treated, and he lives. That explains why little Courage, who hails from Cross River State but is living with her aunt in Obuno, Oka South Council area, was subjected to child labor for God knows how long without anybody coming to her rescue until recently. On that fateful day, Courage was brought to the ABS by some good Samaritans who saw her along King David's side of Regina Shelley Road, crying by the side of the road. When approached, Courage said she was having serious head and back ache, and she said she can no longer walk with a big bucket load of fufu and another bako bag filled with fufu. The good Samaritans decided to bring her to the ABS around 7 o'clock in the evening, where they met Insider News.
So no matter who was in it, I see now before you see a court up what they will
On inquiry, Courage, who said she was 13 years old, explained that she hawks fufu on a daily basis when she comes back from school, but that it became too much for her that day. When contacted at about 3 minutes to 8 o'clock that same day, her aunt, called guardian, Amarom Kemma Weabo, who was not even worried that the child was outside up till that time of the night, claimed that Courage is her granddaughter and told Insider News that she gave Courage 3,000 naira worth of fufu, which is 60 wraps of fufu. According to Mrs. Teresa, who is a landlady and sells water from a borehole in her compound, she uses the proceeds of the fufu sales to feed herself and Courage.
So can you believe I had a room? I need now. Madam, you ain't there, maybe I'm going to go out. I am Nigeria. Okay, that can be done. I am a Nigeria. What my car? You can't really get back of 3,000. So all supplies ain't 1,000. Zinc 2,000. Well, you can't do the bucket at 2,000. I got 2,000. Over to 2,000. That means not open or supply until even in the 3,000. Or supply into 1,000. We lose there. We can't get the car because it's not car. We lose there. I'm going to offer 2,000. I think banning in the 3,000. Only a mother in the 1,000 or less than the 2,000. Hey, oh, we're saying the same thing. You mean if you go on your customer actually going to 1,000. We lose in can want 2,000. And don't go to
Meanwhile, she has children and is living with her son, who is married and living with his wife and mother, since his father, that is Courage's guardian's husband, is dead. Insider News reunited Courage with her guardian, having reached an agreement with her not to ever treat a child in such a manner, as it is against Anambra State child's rights law and is punishable under law. Borrowing words from the initiators of whistleblowing, always watch out in your neighborhood. And if you see something, please say something. In Oka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS Insider News.
How sad that some children are robbed of their innocence. The fight against child hawking is a collective effort which we all as a society must fight to stop. Children must be allowed to enjoy their childhood and must ensure the Child Rights Act is enforced and sustained. Many thanks for being with us on the Insiders News. Now, don't forget that you can follow our news and programs on ABS from any part of the world simply by logging onto our website, which is www.absradiotv.com. Like us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. And follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube handle at ABS Radio TV. And with that, we'll end the news this evening. Thanks for being with us. I am Ifunanya Amafili. Have a pleasant evening.